Hello everyone and welcome to For You. My name is Reese.
I'm Kathy.
And today we have an article about something that I'm personally super interested in. The title is Stories Written by Machines, Welcome to the Future. How do you feel about this topic?
It's pretty near us, in the future. Maybe these machines will do something to us humans.
That's kind of a scary thought. Do you think that AI, artificial intelligence, will replace humans in the future?
Oh, this is a very good question. I've seen people discuss about this on TV, and me and my friends also have discussed about this before. I think AI will replace human beings in the future, but actually deep inside my mind, I think no. And the reason is because we human beings are unique. We have emotions. We grow up in different backgrounds. And we build up all these personal experience to become us. And these are the things that AI cannot replace.
That's true. I think you're very right there. There are some jobs that have already been replaced by computers, like factory jobs making cars. But I think you're right about the fact that humans are very creative and we build our personalities on our experiences. Robots don't have that life experience that they can use to be creative when they create things like stories and art. Well, today's article is all about that, how AI might be creeping up on humanity in terms of their ability to be creative. Let's have a read.
Reading.
Stories written by machines. Welcome to the future. It's no secret that artificial intelligence, AI, is becoming smarter and smarter. Now, an AI system has been developed that can create stories from pictures, just like humans can. Before, AI could look at a picture and recognize objects. For example, it could look at some pictures and see a black frisbee on top of a roof, a boy throwing a ball, and a ball and a frisbee on the roof. Now, though, AI can analyze several pictures to come up with a short story. To do this, the AI looks at a series of pictures of the same event. It puts them in a logical order and then analyzes them to get a better understanding of what is happening in each picture. From this, the AI can then come up with the story. So, in our frisbee example, the AI would be able to say, "Now the frisbee and soccer ball are stuck on the roof." This AI already has some practical benefits. For example, it can help people who can't see well to understand what is happening in photos. It can even allow security cameras to suggest that something suspicious might be happening. Although this kind of AI isn't being used extensively yet, the possibilities for its future uses are endless.
Okay, so let's get into the article. It's no secret that artificial intelligence, AI, is becoming smarter and smarter. Okay, we have an interesting phrase here already at the beginning of the article. It's no secret that. We can use this phrase to talk about something that everybody should know about. By saying it's no secret, we're saying that this piece of information is obvious and most people will already know about it. It's not a secret.
Yes, it's no secret that means 众所皆知. For example, it's no secret that you should wear a mask wherever you go and wash your hands frequently in order to prevent COVID-19.
Back to the article. Now, an AI system has been developed that can create stories from pictures, just like humans can. Before, AI could look at a picture and recognize objects. Okay, sounds kind of scary. What does the word recognize mean? Recognize here is a verb, and to recognize something means to be able to identify something that you can see, hear, or sense because you've seen it before or you've experienced it before. We often use recognize to talk about people. You might recognize an old friend who you haven't seen for years because you remember their face. We can also recognize sounds, smells, and tastes. Here's an example sentence. I didn't recognize my friend Ben after he shaved all of his hair off.
Recognize 是动词，指认出或是认识。If you graduate from high school and study medical in college, then you'll become a doctor in the future, and you'll be trained to recognize the symptoms, 症状, of different diseases.
That's very useful, especially in the world today.
Yes.
Another word to talk about is the word object. It's a noun, and an object is a thing. Anything can be an object, really, as long as it is something physical that you can touch. A pen is an object, and a camera is an object too. We wouldn't usually describe a living thing as an object, though. Actually, it can be quite offensive to do so. We use the word object when we want to talk generally about physical things or about a thing that we're not really sure how to describe or name. Here's an example. Even a small object dropped from a tall building can do serious damage.
Object 就是物体, like an UFO is a strange object that flies in the sky. However, if you add tion after object, then you'll have objection, which means the act of expressing or feeling opposition to or dislike of something or someone. For example, in the meeting, some people raised objections to the proposal.
So the article continues here by telling us more about this technology. It says, for example, it could look at some pictures and see a black frisbee on top of a roof, a boy throwing a ball and a frisbee on the roof. So we have a series of events here. But first, let's talk about the word frisbee. I love frisbees and I love this word. Frisbees are those round plastic discs that people throw to each other for fun. Dogs love to chase frisbees too. And there's even a sport where people pass frisbees around a field. Did you ever play with frisbees when you were younger?
Yes, I have. I played it with my family in the park when I was a little girl. It's so much fun.
I love it.
Frisbee 就是飞盘. If you haven't played it before, you can try it with your friends next time.
I like the Chinese name for frisbee. It's just flying plate.
飞盘, yeah.
That's essentially what it is. Okay, back to the article. It says, now, though, AI can analyze several pictures to come up with a short story. Ooh, very interesting. Let's talk about the phrase come up with here. This phrase means to make up or think of a new idea. If you come up with a new story, that means you thought of it yourself. If you come up with a solution to a problem, that means you found the solution.
Come up with something 就是想出或是提出 to suggest or think of an idea or a plan. For example, if you start your personal website, the next thing you need to do is to come up with a name that represents your personal brand.
So we see this word analyze in the article. It's a verb and it means to examine or think carefully about something in order to understand that thing. Its noun form is analysis, and sometimes it can be spelled with an S instead of a Z. The Americans use analyze with a Z. Us Brits, we prefer to put an S. Well, back to the article. It says, to do this, the AI looks at a series of pictures of the same event, just like the ones we just discussed. Let's talk about this phrase, a series of, more specifically the word series. A series of something means many things, objects, or events of a similar kind happening or coming one after the other. We talk about a TV series because it has many episodes that come one after the other. Many things can come in series, though. The article mentioned a series of pictures. That would be photographs or drawings of something that happened in the order that the thing happened.
A series of 就是一系列的. We can say comedy series, For example, I missed the second episode of the series, so I have no idea what's going on now.
I think when we're talking about TV series in particular, we can also use the word season instead of series. Okay, back to the article. It puts them in a logical order and then analyzes them to get a better understanding of what is happening in each picture. Let's talk about the word logical here. Logical is an adjective, and logical means that something has logic and order. If something is logical, it makes sense and isn't weird, silly, or unexpected. Putting something into logical order means that the order works and makes sense. If an answer to a question is logical, that means the answer works, is sensible, and uses evidence. It's not just some crazy response. Here's an example sentence with logical. It would be logical for you to pick up the gift, as you'll be in that part of the city later anyway.
刚刚提到这个字 logical 就是合乎逻辑的、合理的，名词呢就是 logic. So it's logical if prices go up, wages 工資 should go up too. However, it's a pity that in our society, in reality, this wish is hard to achieve.
Yeah, that's a shame. So the Chinese word for logic is 逻輯. So does that word come from the English or Greek word logic?
That's a good question.
I think it might do.
Yes.
Because it sounds very similar. Logic is a very hard idea to explain, but it basically just means making sense. Okay, back to the article. From this, the AI can then come up with the story. So, in our frisbee example, the AI would be able to say, now the frisbee and soccer ball are stuck on the roof. Ooh. So this AI technology is able to look at the pictures, put them in the correct order, and then translate that into written language.
Yes, and the article goes on and says, this AI already has some practical benefits.
Ooh, practical benefits. They sound nice. Let's talk about those words.
Okay.
Practical is an adjective, and if something is practical, it is about the actual doing or use of something rather than the science and theory about something. Being practical means actually taking action and doing things rather than worrying about the why or how. We can describe many things as practical, including people, objects, or processes. A backpack is a very practical object because it's very useful. A practical person is good at doing things and doesn't waste much time thinking about the science behind it. Here's an example sentence for practical. Please wear more practical shoes for the hike. High heel shoes and sandals are not appropriate.
I will never wear high heels.
I went to the Great Wall of China once, and there was a woman wearing high-heeled shoes. Very impractical.
Really? Is she walking like...
I mean, to her credit,
model,
she was walking up those stairs as quickly as I was.
Oh my
I was
God.
very impressed.
So she's good at that.
She was pretty good.
Okay, practical 就是实用的、务实的. It's related to experience, real situations, or actions rather than ideas or imagination. So if you work in a hospital, you can say, I offer practical help for people with disabilities.
So practical help there would be more like physically helping them do things instead of writing about how you can help them do things. Okay, another word to talk about, and it's the word benefit. Let's take a look. The word benefit can be a verb or a noun, though here it's used as a noun. A benefit is an advantage or profit that you get from something. That means something good that you can get from a person, situation, or event. If you get a new job, and in addition to a good salary, they pay for your rent, give you lots of vacation and good health insurance, that job has many benefits, many good things. There are many benefits to living in Taiwan, like nice people and beautiful nature. Here's an example sentence with benefit. One benefit of living in the city is that convenience stores are open 24 hours a day.
So about the convenience store you just talked about, it's definitely a huge benefit. You know, one of my friends lives in the mountains and she has to drive 2 hours in order to get food.
Wow.
Benefit 就是好处或是利益, a helpful or good effect, or something intended to help. In the government, if the government builds a new school in the mountains, it will be a great benefit to the kids that live there.
I like benefits. I like good things. So, back to the article. It continues with, for example, it can help people who can't see well to understand what is happening in photos. So this technology can basically create a story and read it to people who maybe are blind.
Yes. And it goes on and says, it can even allow security cameras to suggest that something suspicious might be happening.
Ooh, that's a very good use. Security is a word that we might not have seen before. Security is a noun, though here it's kind of used as an adjective because it describes the cameras. Security is about safety. Important buildings like banks and political buildings need lots of security. That means cameras, guards, and other things to keep the building safe from bad people. The word security talks about all of those things that keep something safe. Here's an example sentence. The president needs constant security as there are dangerous people who want to hurt her.
Security 就是保安或是我们说保全, the protection of a person, a building, an organization against threats such as crime or attacks by foreign countries. So if a group of people are responsible for protecting a building, they are security and their job is to keep the building safe.
Does your apartment building in Taipei have lots of security?
Actually, my friend's, her apartment does, but I don't have one.
Yeah, I think my apartment building, we have a locked door at the front. That's a kind of security. There's also a guard, and to go up in the elevator, you need to beep your card. So those are all forms of security, keeping something safe. We also have the word suspicious. Suspicious is an adjective, and something described as suspicious cannot be trusted. Something suspicious might make us feel uncomfortable or scared because we don't know much about it or it does something to make us not trust it. People can be described as suspicious, and we can also describe somebody's actions as suspicious. If I walk into a room and find Kathy looking through my bag, she's being very suspicious.
No, I won't do that. Suspicious means 可疑的. It makes you feel like something illegal is happening or that something is wrong. For example, it's a little suspicious that no one knows where Ashley was at the time of the murder.
Maybe Ashley did it. We can also use the word suspicious in another way. If I say I am suspicious of you, that doesn't mean that I'm suspicious. That means I think you are suspicious. I'm suspicious of you. Okay, back to the article. Although this kind of AI isn't being used extensively yet, the possibilities for its future uses are endless. So many things that we can do with this technology. It's extensive. The article used the word extensively. It's an adverb and it means to do something in a way that covers or affects a large amount or area. If there is a fire in your house, we could say that the house was extensively damaged by the fire. That means most of the house was burned and destroyed. It's not a good thing.
Extensively is 大量的, 广泛的. For example, this machine has been extensively modified, which should be more efficient now. 这台机器呢已经被大规模的改造过，现在应该生产起来更有效率了。And so that's all for today's article. Now let's go to today's For You Chat question.
For You Chat.
So today's For You Chat question is an interesting one. So, Kathy, what other uses do you think this type of AI might have?
Oh, from the article which we talked about today, not only can this type of AI understand what it sees, but it can also make up stories, which means it has the ability to express ideas. So I think that maybe it can become a guide for people who are blind in the future, or that this type of AI can help humans recognize bad weather before they decide whether or not it's safe for airplanes to take off, which will definitely help human beings. Well, this is what I think. Any other ideas toward this question, Reese?
Well, I just hope that people don't use this kind of technology for bad reasons.
Exactly.
You know, if somebody who had bad intentions was using this technology, they could use it to do terrible things, maybe like, you know, plan an attack based on the photographs of a place. Or in war, countries could use this kind of technology to, you know, map out an area. I think it sounds pretty scary. So hopefully only good people will be using this technology.
Fingers crossed.
What do you guys think about this new AI technology and how can it be used? You can talk about this with your classmates. But for today, that's all we have. I'm Reese.
I'm Kathy.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Vocabulary Review.
Recognize. The 7-year-old girl couldn't recognize her uncle because it was only the second time she had seen him. Object. The dog gets excited when it sees its owner throwing certain objects, like balls. Logical. Tim likes to think about things in a logical way before he makes big decisions. Practical. The company came up with a practical plan to increase its profits next year. Benefit. The benefit of buying a new car over a used one is that it should be more reliable. Security. Mike fitted a large gate in front of his house to improve the security of the building.
智慧小補帖
Frisbee. Analyze. A series of. Suspicious. Extensively.
以上节目是由活用空中美語製作。活用空中美語雜誌，請洽詢全國各大書店。如欲索取視聽教材，請來電02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上網查詢，網址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net